This episode of the Gamerheads podcast is brought to you by Seven Bridges Premium Gourmet Yum Yum Sauce. Enhance every bite with our savory blends of flavors, perfect for meats, vegetables, and crispy treats. Whether you're dipping, drizzling, marinating, grilling, roasting, or snacking, Seven Bridges Yum Yum Sauce takes your culinary experience to the next level. Get yours today and make every meal a gourmet delight.
Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Megacat Studios.
Hey folks, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon from Reignite and the Fun and Games podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bunte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Baron J67 from Level 1 Gaming.
Hi, I'm Jacob McCourt from the Left Behind Game Club, Crossplay Conversations, and Video Game Trivia.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations, this is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
What's good, y'all? This is Adam from Respawn Aimfire.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi, everyone. Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hello, this is the Crypt Master, and you're listening to Roger You're listening to Roger on the Gamerheads podcast.
And welcome to another episode of the Gamerheads podcast. See, that's a better intro. I like that one because I'm so used to it. Hello, everybody. It's Mike here, and I'm being joined by Phil. Phil, how's it going? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Roger is going to be out for a couple of weeks, so he made the huge mistake of giving us the controls of the podcast. So we're going to take it into places that will probably get us fired. So
should we tell people where Roger is?
Sure.
My last location that I heard, he was training with a bunch of ninjas on a secret remote island.
Yes. And the last that I heard, he's at a Motel 6 in Akron.
Ohio?
Is there any other?
He's not eating dogs, is he?
Well, that's the delicacy out that way.
Damn it. Sorry, Roger.
Hot dogs.
Ooh. I like hot dogs.
Have you ever? I went to Universal Studios one time, and they had a hot dog place that was all about different areas. They had a Chicago dog, they had a Boston dog, so it's like every region has its own style of hot dog.
At Universal Studios?
Not in Universal Studios, at Universal, like the City Walk, which is right.
Right outside of Orlando.
Yeah. I think it might have been in Universal Studios. I don't know, but either way, it was pretty good. We had a good. I don't even know what I had. I think my wife had the Boston dog. My son had like one from Arizona. I think like an Arizona dog.
Huh.
Just all different toppings and stuff.
Well, it's kind of like hot dogs that used to be open in Chicago until I want to say 2014. That had a plethora of hot dogs, all made with different meats and toppings. So you could go and get like an alligator hot dog or a rattlesnake hot dog, and they fried all of their French fries in duck fat as well. So they were super known for their fries because they were so rich.
Yeah.
But yeah, hot dogs was great. I kind of miss that place.
I can't believe I never went there. But I don't know if I could eat fries. Wait. This is a video game podcast.
You mentioned hot dogs.
I know. This is on me. This is my bad. See, this is why we need Roger here.
No, Roger gets just as lost in the sauce as we do. He just tries to hide it better.
That's true.
He just regrounds us is what happens.
That's true. He brings it. That's true. Yeah, good call out. So, all right, well, listeners, let's get into video game stuff. But before we get into that, we're going to give a shout out to our Gamerheads Patreons. Thank you to Jill and Matt and Sarah for your donations. It keeps us afloat and helps send Roger to fantastic places like the hot dog capital of the world, Akron, Ohio, apparently, and allows us to keep the podcast going. So thank you so much. And if you would like to be a Patreon, you can go search up at Patreon, search up Gamerheads, and there you can be a patron where you will get all sorts of fantastic items. If you donate $5 you will get a personalized letter from our friend Phil here. And it's great because he only knows 17 letters of the alphabet. So that's all. You're going to get only words that use those 17 letters. But he makes it work.
I'm going to start practicing writing with only 17 letters to see if I can't put together a letter with it. That'd be so awesome.
Yep, there we go.
But yeah, listeners, for as little as $3 a month, you can support Gamerheads and content like this, as well as doing things like sending our friends Roger and Trina to places like PAX East, PAX West, PAX Midwest, PAX Mid-South, PAX Dirty South, and all other PAXs.
What's the difference between the South? You know what? I don't want to know.
Dirty South is like the Atlanta area. The rest of it's just the South.
Okay. Good to know. PAX Panhandle. PAX Bible Belt. Yeah. There are PAXs everywhere. All right. Well, what do you say we get into our icebreaker, which, by the way, is brought to you by Seven Bridges Yum Yum Sauce, available right now wherever Yum Yum sauces are sold on Amazon.
As well as a couple of different markets, especially if you're in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market. We just got into a bunch of... actually, I can't reveal that one quite yet because it's not a finalized deal. But we are at places like Von Hansen's Meat Markets. We're at a fish market in St. Louis Park as well, and we are working at other locations, including Shields.
All right. So pick up some Yum Yum sauce today. Okay, so our icebreaker. So here's what I came up with for the icebreaker for today. So last week, my wife and I went to go see Beetlejuice.
How was it?
It was a movie. Out of all the Beetlejuice movies, that was definitely one of them. Okay, so it was okay. There were too many plots. There were like 4 different plots going on at the same time. If they got rid of 3 of the plots, or even 2 of them, and focused on the other 2, then I think it would have been a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think the theater I was at made it worse.
Why is that?
We went to one of those Bruin View theaters.
Oh.
Where the servers come up and take your order and stuff, and so that's a little distracting. But also the screen itself is a little bit smaller, and the sound system is not the best quality. So it's not really like I went there last year to see the Monster Squad. You remember that movie? I don't know if you remember the Monster Squad, like the Goonies meets
from like the late 80s, right?
Yeah. So a buddy of mine went, and I went there to see the Monster Squad, which was great because I've seen it before. You know, it was just a fun time. But for a new movie that I haven't seen before, and I like to get like all my focus on that screen, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the best idea, but I don't know. Beetlejuice, it was okay, and that upsets me too because I love the original. I love the cartoon.
That's a bummer. How was it visually?
Well, it wasn't bad. It really didn't feel very Tim Burton-ish.
Weird.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there were Tim Burton moments, but not 100% all the time. So I might have to watch it again to give it another go. But if you're looking to watch a scary movie, definitely go see Alien Romulus because that movie was awesome. All right, so the reason I bring up Beetlejuice is because it's been 36 years since there was a Beetlejuice movie, and now we're just 36 years later, we're getting another one. So that made me think about how can we bring this into the realm of video games. So my question is, for our icebreaker, what video game that's been lying dormant, and we're gonna for let's say since the year 2000, so 2000 and earlier, would you like to see a new game in a new I can't even think of the word.
A sequel?
Iteration.
So as I realized what I wrote down, I think both of mine might be slightly after 2000, but not by much. They'd be pretty close, like PlayStation 2, Dreamcast era. Do those count?
99 and 2000, so depends on which game, but I'll allow it.
Maybe one of them did have a sequel, but the first one that came to my brain was Typing of the Dead.
I would love to get a sequel to Typing of the Dead. I actually found a couple months ago on Archive that game because they don't sell it anywhere. I can't find it anywhere. Not on Steam, not on anything.
Really?
So I actually found it on Archive. So I've got it saved on my computer.
I still have my keyboard and my disc copy of it as well. So I could still boot up and play at any given time that I wanted to. But that was the first one that popped in my mind just because I knew how to type, which is a skill that's kind of now been lost on me as I haven't been in an office in God only knows how many years. But it just made it that much more exciting just to type in, like, kill zombies by typing the correct, accurate word as you were going through it. And it got to be very difficult as you were playing through it as well. So,
oh yeah, have you seen the terminal montage video or the cartoon of Typing of the Dead?
No.
Okay, I'll show it to you after we're done here. But I gotta watch you watching it because it's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one that popped in my brain. I gotta watch you watching some voyeuristic stuff.
Yeah.
Another one that came to my brain was on the PlayStation 2, I believe, and it was a game called Psyops, where you played as an agent for some kind of a military agency, because agents and agency go hand in hand. But everything was like psychically controlled, and you were taking down whatever bad guys, and you had powers such as telekinesis and all of the normal psychic powers. But that was a super fun game in my opinion, and I was always bummed that they never made a sequel to it.
Yeah. Psyops, and I always found Psyops interesting because it might have even been that same year, but back to back, a different company released a similar game called Second Sight, which was pretty much the exact same concept.
Just not done as well.
Well, I'm going to go... Okay, so any others?
Yeah, I did have one more, and they might have made a sequel to this as well, but again, I might have spaced it out. But Jet Set Radio.
Ooh, you know what? I think they're working on something.
Okay.
Sega is working on re-releasing or revamping some of their old IPs. Actually, just either this week or last week, some footage of the Crazy Taxi reboot got leaked.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know there's been a couple of spiritual successors to Jet Set Radio, like Spice Channel 5, and as well as, I would even say Sunset Overdrive.
Did you have
Spice Channel.
Did you have a Freudian slip there? The Spice Channel 5? It wasn't Channel 5 for me. I think it was like Channel 98.
Well, I was actually thinking about the movie Spice World as well as Space Channel 5 at the same time as what just happened in my brain. So I just mixed up a whole bunch of late 90s stuff.
Gotcha.
But I also put Sunset Overdrive in the same category of a spiritual successor to that game, which is another game that I feel could use a sequel and was vastly underrated.
Gotcha.
What about yourself?
Well, it begins and ends with Dino Crisis. Why do we not have a new Dino Crisis?
How did that one not come to mind?
I just, it upsets me so much. I mean, it's even just a reboot. With the Resident Evil, the RE engine, oh man, they can make it so good. They make it so nice. But you know what? And that actually kind of pisses me off because I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan. And Capcom says, well, we would work on Dino Crisis, but we're so focused on Monster Hunter that we're not. Makes me angry.
Sounds like you'd probably hire a couple of more people to get the ball rolling on the other one.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's just... Dino Crisis, It's not hard. Come on. It's dinosaurs. It's Resident Evil. You've got the engine.
Just replace zombies with dinosaurs and you're in business.
Right. Oh, well.
Silly.
The other one I had, and I don't know if this counts because I think technically they did release a new game, but I would love to see a new WWE game in the style of No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000. I know they did something similar with AEW Fight Forever, but it didn't work out as well. Like I seriously, like if like Nintendo took, or whoever has the rights to that, took the actual game, bumped up the graphics, and put new wrestlers in there, and sold it for like $15-$20.
Yeah,
digital only. That thing would sell. Like they don't even have to put a ton of effort. What's that?
It was Ukes, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ukes and Aki, I think, or the engine was like the Aki engine, but it was like Ukes and Jax Pacific, I think, maybe something like that.
Well, that's one of those ones where what was that wrestling game that Roger was playing for a long ass time? Was a spiritual successor to that too. Like Wrestle Federation or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, Wrestling Legends or something like that. I don't know. I remember that one. Yeah, but then I bought it and I'm like, this game sucks.
Roger would not steer us awry with his game choices.
That's true. Those are two, but then the one that I really would love to see a new version of, one of my favorite older games, Kirby's Pinball Land for the Game Boy. Oh,
or Metroid Pinball for that matter. Now that you speak pinball.
Yeah. a new pinball. Like, when was the last time we got? Well, I know we get Pinball FX and everything, but that's fine. But I would love to see another. Or you know what? You know was a great game I used to play on the Game Boy Advance. Pinball of the Dead.
Really? I've never even heard of that.
Yep, Pinball of the Dead. Yeah, released by Sega. It's exactly what you would think it is.
Can you beat it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think it's just a high score thing. I don't think there's no story or plot or anything. It's just playing pinball tables with zombies to kill and
all right.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So, anyways, yeah, Kirby's Pinball Land. I love that game. One of my favorites. And I'm very lucky. Like, I got a ridiculously high score. I'm very lucky that the battery on mine still works. So I go back to it every once in a while, and I'm like, yeah, that's my score. So.
I don't think I ever played Kirby's Pinball, which is shocking, knowing how I feel about most Nintendo things.
Yeah, it's a very good game. I really enjoy it.
Have they ported it over on anything?
I don't think they ported it yet.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, we can talk ways that you can play it when we're done recording.
Yeah. We don't want to throw that kind of stuff out there.
Yeah. All right. So what do you say we move on and let's talk about what's in the news? And we hate to talk about negative things in the news, but it's been a slow week. Unfortunately, we got word of more layoffs on the Xbox side. I think what they say, 650?
I think it was 650, yeah.
About 650 people are being laid off from the Xbox division of Microsoft. Now, these are not, from what I understand, these are not developers or people working on any games, but this was more on the corporate side. And from what we understand, this is also might be focused on more of the Activision Blizzard part, which again doesn't surprise me because anytime one company acquires another company, there's always mass layoffs and people, them trying to, I guess, even out the money they spent. So
that's the best way of phrasing that too, is trying to even out the money that they spent. It's a very real thing.
Yep, and it sucks. It really does. So I mean, at least, and I hate to use the term "at least" because it's always horrible when someone loses their job and their livelihood, especially when it's due to something like this and there's no notice. At least it's not there. None of the games themselves, like, because they've had a big impact on games, with them shutting down the different studios and everything. So, but it's still horrible. It's terrible. It's just so aggravating when you see things like that, especially when, and this is a conversation I had with one of my coworkers, is what really gets on my nerves, aside from the actual firings themselves, is the corporate speak in the press releases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we wish everybody the best of luck, and this decision is never made lightly. My ass, it's not made lightly.
Right.
Yeah, they're probably just excited as hell to be like, all right, look how much we get to save and give ourselves bonuses and all that stuff. That's what I said to my coworker too. I'm like, in Japan, when a company is not performing, the CEO will cut their own salary.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen here.
It also, like, at this point, how are people still getting into the gaming business? Yep. Just with how often these things hit and like just how they occur and just out of nowhere, it seems like. And neither of us are insiders. Maybe the writing is on the wall when you're sitting inside of the building, because you're looking over at Dave that's just twiddling their thumbs going like, yo, Dave's making $150 a year to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it's more obvious when you're inside, but it just, it doesn't sit well.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We wish best of luck, obviously. Hope everybody gets to land on their feet and find a new job right away. But it's always horrible when something like that happens. So
get the hell out of the video game industry at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people are saying they foresee another crash coming, which is not surprising for several reasons. Number one, they did a ton of hiring during the pandemic,
right?
And then now that that's over, the demand isn't there as much, and not only that, but the cost of games, the cost of producing and creating games, and the length of time it takes to make like a AAA game is getting ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting, 5, 6, 7 years to make a game.
To then be released with a bunch of bugs for everybody to complain about, and then hail about a year later when all the bugs have been patched out too.
No, but when all the bugs have been patched out, they've already moved on to another game.
Right.
It's something needs to change. I'm going to be totally honest. Like, I really wish the industry would realize that they don't need to make these types of games where you've got people in motion capture suits acting out, where it's like these walking simulators. You know what I mean? It's like these action games where it's like a movie. You don't have to do that. I mean, myself as a gamer, I don't want that. Give me a game like Jak and Daxter where it's a fun, straightforward 8-hour, 10-hour game that takes you maybe a year and a half to make. Then use the engine, improve on it a little bit, make a sequel that comes out a year later or a year and a half later. Then do the same thing. Like during the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, those games were churning out, and there were good games coming out.
Yeah, none of us complained about the amount of Jak and Daxters or Sly Coopers that came out. We sat there and played them with a smile on our face and loved every second of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't
Time
complain
Splitters.
About Tony Hawk. We didn't complain about until the fourth one. Like we sat there and ate it because they were all good.
That's true. Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess to your point, yeah, like the Guitar Hero fatigue, things like that. I could see what. Yeah, like if you're releasing with Guitar Hero, then they started doing Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero. Right. ABBA. I don't know, whatever.
I would have played Guitar Hero ABBA.
Yeah. Guitar Hero Phil Collins, or actually they'd be Drum Hero. But anyway.
But they also didn't change anything up in between all of those games for the most part.
That's true.
It was just the same game released with different tracks. Like Guitar Hero was a game that could have benefited hugely from just DLC if it would have been a thing at the time. They could have just kept it going off the original one, and everybody would have been okay.
Yeah, and this is why I turn to indie games for a lot of my playing. They're more creative. They're out quicker. They're reasonably priced. I keep telling like that one game. I reviewed it for the website Pumpkin Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is exactly like an old school PS2, Xbox, GameCube type game. It's fun. It's straightforward. It's the kind of game I want to play. I don't want to. I'm sorry, but I don't want to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
I do.
But
that's me. Sucker for open world games. It's my wheelhouse.
That's true.
I love it.
And that's not to say you can't have these AAA games.
No.
That take 8 years to make, but that shouldn't be your priority. Like make one. Like have one section of your studio do that. I don't know. That's probably why I'm not running things. I don't make that. Yeah, I don't get to make the stupid decisions. So.
But you could if you want to get laid off.
That's true. Well, and speaking of stupid decisions,
I was about to say, what else do we have in the news, Mike?
Let's talk about Sony. So this week, Sony announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, the much rumored console upgrade to the PlayStation 5 that was everybody knew it was going to happen, we just didn't know when. So they had like a 9-minute presentation this week, and it's basically what you expect it to be. It's a PlayStation 5 with a little bit more under the hood. And that's essentially it. Nothing major in terms of, no major changes. It's just more powerful. It's a more powerful PS5. What does have everybody talking is the price point.
And what is that price point, Mike?
$699 US.
Okay, so how much is a PlayStation 5 right now? Not the Pro version.
$500.
Okay, so what does that additional $200 get somebody?
I don't know the exact specs. I know they're out there, but I'm not a big fan of specs, but it just, they're saying that it's, so right now when you're playing PlayStation 5, you can choose between fidelity mode and performance mode. Mm-hmm. Fidelity mode, I think, is like you're prioritizing graphics over performance. Performance mode, you're prioritizing performance over graphics. So it's like you're choosing either 4K or 60 frames per second. The Pro, you could do both. They're also going to be updating several PlayStation 5 games that take advantage of the PS5 Pro. No game announcements. They're like, hey, here's a brand new game, and here's how it looks on the PS5 Pro. It was all, here's how your older games are going to look.
Ooh.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah?
So you want to spend $700 on your PlayStation 5 Pro? Go for it.
Do I?
Yes. No. But please be advised that this $700 gets you the digital version of the PlayStation 5 Pro. If you want to get the disc reader add-on, that'll cost you an additional $80.
It's not like a peripheral you plug in, is it?
No, you could take like a piece of the console off and pop it in, so it looks like.
Now
so
you
it's
duct
not
tape
like
your Sony Discman to the side
that's
of it,
right.
and
That's
it all
exactly
makes it work.
Yeah. So now, if you want the full PlayStation 5 Pro that uses physical media, you're spending $780 plus tax.
That's an
$800.
astronomical amount of money. You can get a decent gaming PC for that. And not that I'm a gaming PC or a PC gamer.
Yep. And it's funny because I'm going to get into that in a second, but I want to call out IGN had a great article about it. And it said, introducing PS5 Pro, the most expensive way to play PS4 games.
Damn.
Yeah, there were some interesting comments in the chat.
Damn. That is all right. That's not even pulling a punch.
I'm gonna ask you to say that again, but you got to say it like Ron Simmons. Or wait, did I say? No, not the wrong.
Damn.
Damn. There we go. So let me ask you this, and this is, I'm glad you brought up PC. I'm not a PC gamer.
Nope.
I've always been against it. I've always been a console, hook it up to the TV,
plug and play.
That's just my preference. I don't want to go out and buy a new video card every other year just so I can take advantage, However, with this information, I started looking at 160 hertz monitors, so gaming monitors.
Yeah.
I'm looking to update a PC potentially. Nothing major, but I am now looking into PC gaming. So I'm going to ask this. If this is the way consoles are going, what is the price point for you for a console where you say, I'm out, I'm done, I'm sticking with PC, and that's because that's going to be my best option. Or even better yet, Switch.
I'll go PC before I go Switch, damn it.
Yeah.
Even if it costs me $1,200 to build my PC that'll play it. God, I don't, man.
How much is too much for a video game console?
That's going to be a question that I think we're going to be looking at when the next generation, whenever that might be, which is probably going to end up being far too soon, unfortunately, drops. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm cool with paying $500. I'm okay with paying $600. But $700 with no disc, where I have to pay another $80 to get the disc, is starting to push things, especially knowing full well that I can go out and my controller of choice is an Xbox controller, as I'm an Xbox gamer, and I can plug it into my PC, and I can play Microsoft games as well as just like have Xbox Online on my computer and do that. I don't know. $700 might be the breaking point.
All right, so I realize that I'm much cheaper than you.
Have you seen my comic collection?
Yeah, that's true. Yes. 500 to me. 600 would probably be pushing it. Like
6 is pushing it.
If I were to say 600, then I'd be like, I better be getting a lot of stuff with this.
Yeah.
At the very least, a pack-in game.
And it better be a big boost in performance as well.
Yeah.
Because between the One and the Series X, there's a performance differential, mainly in load times and the auto resume and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily like that big of a difference where it's just like, holy shit, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Hey, I just feel like 27 minutes without swearing.
Not bad. I kind of feel like we got hosed this gen.
I agree.
Nothing like this gen is like been nothing interesting. Well, a couple games, but it's like it's nowhere near as last gen or anything like that. So I would probably 550, 600. I would like, I don't know. I that might be. I don't know if I could spend that much unless again I'm getting a pack in game and like maybe like 3 months of ultimate or something. There had to be something in there to entice me to.
It's gonna have to be a hell of a sell to get me to go that high.
Yep. So I don't know if this is the way systems are headed. I might be headed out. I might just stick with PC.
I'm curious to see what the sales numbers look like after the first 6 months of the PS5 Pro or whatever they're calling it out in the wild are.
Yeah. Well, there's always the hardcore fans that will pick up whatever they put out.
Yeah. Which is meh. But that's the same for any system.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Nintendo fans just begging for a new Switch all the time, like their 4K Switch and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not shitting on anybody in this case that is that type of person. And you got your Microsoft people that are just content surviving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yep. So yeah. So and the release date is November 7th. Pre-orders go live on September 26th. I think I also read that if you want to pre-order the PS5 Pro, again, we're not judging you. We would like to be your friend if you can afford that kind of stuff. So
no kidding. We'll if you can afford a PS5 Pro, you can afford $3 a month to sponsor the Gamerheads podcast on Patreon.com.
Right. And you get more new content out of it. So, but just be advised if you're going to pre-order the PS5 Pro, I think for 2 weeks it's only going to be available for pre-order on the Sony website, and then after that they're going to put pre-orders on retail sites, something like that. Yeah.
They must be expecting a high demand for this, and
yeah. Well, okay. The drive is already selling out.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the same drive that the PlayStation 5 digital uses.
Okay.
So like the add-on.
Yeah.
But so it could be either people buying it in anticipation for the Pro, or our favorite people in the world, scalpers. Yep. So. But I digress. All right. Well, that's all the interesting news that we've had this week. Let's jump right into what we've been playing. So, Phil, what you been playing lately?
I finally got off of my kick of only playing the same 2 to 3 games every day. That's not true. I still play the same 2 to 3 games every day. Mm-hmm. But I also recently have mixed in a game called Tales of Iron.
The mouse.
Yeah, which is a game about a mouse that ends up becoming king and going to war with the Frog Kingdom. It is, I don't know really how to describe it. It's kind of Metroidvania-y. It's also kind of platformy. It's kind of brawlery at the same time. All right, so it's an action-adventure from what I just said.
All right.
With small hints of RPG elements. I'm only about an hour and a half into it. But the way that it all plays out is you are the son of the king of the Mouse Kingdom, which I don't remember the name of. And you've been at peace for a long time against the frogs. And the frogs end up invading again, killing the king. You end up getting promoted to be the king. And then you go to try to take the world back from the frogs. It's very pretty. It's got some very nice voice acting and narration that goes along with it. The gameplay thus far has been very tight. And the exploration facts have been fun as well. The combat is challenging enough to keep you engaged, but not too hard to make you quit.
That's what I was going to say. Does it seem kind of Souls-like at all?
No. There's little benches you can sit on that will save your progress. And so if you sit on a bench and then you die, you go right back into it. You don't have to recollect your stuff or anything like that.
Okay. But in terms of the difficulty,
No, it's not anywhere near that punishing.
Okay.
But there is a counter and parry system to it, but I'd hearken it more so along the lines of a rudimentary Assassin's Creed counter parry system than a Souls counter parry system.
Gotcha.
Especially since it is all in the 2D space instead of 3D, where you're not navigating everything, you're just navigating everything.
Yep. I don't know, did they announce a sequel to that?
They did, which is what got me to play this. I saw a trailer for the sequel and I was just like, oh, this looks really cool. I haven't seen the first one. I saw the first one, I think it was on sale relatively inexpensively. So I grabbed it, picked it up, and I started playing it. It's a game I'll spend some more time with.
Cool.
Yeah, very nice little hand-drawn graphics. They look hand-drawn to it. I mean, yeah, the controls are a little bit floaty when you jump, but also you kind of anticipate that in that style of a game.
Awesome. All right. Anything else?
Nothing outside of the usuals. No, and I tried to convince myself to go and play other things, but then I got stuck in a rut. What have you been playing?
So aside from the usual, Fortnite. Been playing that. I'm up to level, I think, like 160 something right now.
You're gonna hit 200.
150. I'm actually gonna hit 200 this time. And Black Cat comes out this Friday or Saturday.
Damn it!
Yes, indeed. So, yeah. Anyway, what was I thinking about again?
Games you've been playing, Mike.
Games I've been playing. That's right. So the first game I can talk about now that the review is up.
Where's the review at?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Phil. The review you can find at gamerheadspodcast.com. And the game I reviewed is Yars Rising, and that's not about pirates.
Yar.
It's so basically, did you ever play Yars Revenge for the Atari?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's in that universe. And yes, I do mean that universe. I call it out in the review is that back in the day, games used to come with instruction manuals.
That had backstory.
That had backstories in them, yes. And actually, Yars Revenge came with a comic book
that gave you by not just saying "Yar" every time.
So this game is it's kind of like in that same universe, but this one is not the arcade game. This is actually it's a Metroidvania. So this is it's made by WayForward. It's a Metroidvania game where you play as a main character and you're also a hacker for hire. So you start off trying to upload like a virus into the organization you work at, because that's what you're being paid to do. And I'm not going to get into the whole story. I don't want to ruin anything, but it goes into a very interesting story about aliens and all that other stuff. But it takes the whole Yar story and mythos and incorporates it into this game. It's very typical Metroidvania where you can't get to some place until you get a power up, and then you can go back and do that. All that other fun stuff. What sets this apart is two things. Number one, I'm going to call out is the voice acting is phenomenal. The writing is really funny. The main character, and I apologize that I don't know who voiced her, but she did an amazing job. Like, she's just like really funny and aloof the whole time.
Okay.
She calls out different things like video game tropes. Like, she's like, "Oh, here we go, another room with lasers. What a surprise!" Just kind of like pokes fun at these things. And her dialogue with the other characters is pretty interesting. The other thing that really takes it, the other thing that is different than most Metroidvanias, and this is where it really goes into that Yars universe, is that in order to open doors, to unlock power-ups, things like that, you have to hack into these terminals. And when you go to hack into it, it opens up a screen, and it's the original Atari 2600 game.
Okay.
So in the 2600 game, you have to like nibble away at a shield and then fire a cannon at whatever the enemy is, the Kotile. But there's a whole, and then once you do that, then it hacks the door or you get the power up, etc. But the cool thing is, it's unlike the Atari 2600 game, they have a bunch of different variations on it. So, like, for example, like there's like 3 missiles that are slowly coming at you or following you. So you got to avoid those. Or you need to collect like a pellet that shuts down a barrier that's otherwise you can't damage it. Or there's one where you're shooting and it's basically like Centipede. So there's also other Atari references in the game.
Yeah.
One of the final boss battles is absolutely hilarious. Was not expecting it, and I also slapped myself in the forehead because I didn't realize the reference at the beginning of the game, and I won't call it out because again I don't want to spoil anything.
Ah!
Yeah, I could tell you about it after the show.
Okay.
And it's not a bad game. I mean, it's a typical as far as Metroidvanias go. I gave it a B. It's a fun game, especially if you like Metroidvanias. After you're done with the game, you can go back and play it on professional mode. Then you can also try to get beat the times in all of the different hacking mini games, so they're all available for you. So,
do you unlock anything for doing that?
No, achievements.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also the soundtrack is very nice. They got a bunch of different artists, so there's a lot of lyrics and singing in it.
Ooh, lyrics and singing.
Lyrics and singing. Yes, you can't sing without lyrics. And it's also it's very techno poppy Japanese type, that type of music. So
yeah,
it's an interesting game. I had a good time playing it. I'm glad I played it.
And you said you gave it a B?
Gave it a B.
And if people want to read the full review, where can they read that?
They can go straight to gamerheadspodcast.com and look at reviews, and then you will see Yars Rising.
As well as reviews written by Roger, occasionally ones by myself, and some by Trina, and maybe even others that I'm not aware of.
That's true, yeah. Over at gamerheadspodcast.com.
When you said that it hits like all their, like she calls out all the video game tropes and stuff, it made me envision in my head, and I know it's kind of been done, but there was that craze in the early 2000s of not another teen movie, not another whatever movie, scary movie. Yeah. I do too. But somebody should make it not another video game.
That'd be awesome.
Where it's just like, it just hits all of those notes. It's in everything.
Yep. That would be fun.
Anything else you've been playing?
Yes, I have been playing another game, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. So the wife and I, we were just hanging out in the living room trying to figure out what to do. We're like, hey, let's watch a movie. I'm like, you know what? Let's not watch a movie. Let's play a game called The Quarry. So I finally took The Quarry out of my backlog, unwrapped it, popped it in, because I told her about what Until Dawn was about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. And she said, she's like, I love David Arquette. And I'm like, okay, because she loves the Scream movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's play it. So we played the Quarry, and I normally I'm after maybe like an hour or two, I'm like, okay, I'll stop for now, and then I'll pick it up again later. I'm like, okay, are you good? She's like, no, keep going. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
keep going. And so I think we're at about halfway through the game right now.
Nice.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's just like Until Dawn. It's a lot of fun. It's not what I thought it was. It's been out long enough that I won't give out many spoilers, but I thought it was going to be like a slasher, like a Jason type movie, but I guess it's not, but at least from what I've seen so far. So
it gets there.
Yeah. So we've been having some fun with it because she's not a gamer. She doesn't play games, but she's good at telling me what to do. So so whenever a thing would come up and it's like, how do you want to reply? I'd look over and she would tell me like, you should reply like this. One thing I learned about my wife, she is a jerk. That's all she picked. She picked a majority of the replies were like the mean replies.
Okay. Like
the sassy replies and things like that. I did think she kind of screwed me over though.
Oh.
Because there was, at some points in the Quarry. So if you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the Quarry, it's basically like a choose your own adventure anime or like a horror movie, like a choose your own adventure horror movie almost. And it's well acted. It looks like a video game. There is some pointy clicky walking around and searching for things and, know, and taking things like that. But in the game, there's like 7 or 8 main characters, and you could have any combination of them living or dying.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have everybody live, everybody die, or anything in between. So there's a whole bunch of different endings. I don't know if how's your poker face? Because I don't want you to spoil anything for me. Okay, so we were at the scene. There's a scene where 2 of the characters break into like the county store. Or like the snack bar or something like that. And you break into a safe, and in the safe there are fireworks, and it says, will you take the fireworks, yes or no? And I asked my wife, and I'm like, well, what do you think? She's like, yeah, take the fireworks. I'm like, okay. But in my gut, my horror movie experience tells me like I probably should have left the fireworks there, but I guess we'll find out later. So that's all I'm going to say there. But then on the flip side, she did something that was that I totally forgot about. There's a skinny dipping scene, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And there's a point where you either go up towards the surface or you swim back down. And I'm like, well, I'm going up to the surface. She's like, no, you need to swim back down. And I'm like, why? And then she's like, you have to get what this person is swimming back down for. And I'm like, I totally forgot about that. So I'm hoping I made the right decision on that. So that's the thing. And that's why I kind of like these games, but at the same time, they cause me so much stress because my decisions are impacting the ending. And I'm like, I don't want to mess up, but I want to see everything. So it messes with my head. But I think we're about halfway done. We ended it at that point where they went back right after the first guy gets attacked.
Okay.
So it's right after the skinny dipping scene where the one girl is by herself.
So you're not
talking to her Instagram friends while she's walking around.
Okay. And that's kind of all like in that elevated spot, right? If memory serves me correctly. Okay, yeah. I know exactly where you are.
So
are you guys passing the controller while you're playing?
No, you're
driving and she's co-piloting?
Yeah, well, yeah, just like whenever we drive everywhere. Yeah,
she's the Chewbacca to your Han Solo?
That's exactly right, because she was also working on grading papers at the same time, so.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I'm loving it. It's,
along those lines, not to step on your toes, but Kyle and I, we're going to start, what the hell is it called now? The new one.
Casting of Frank Stone,
but it is not online multiplayer.
Oh.
So Rachel and I are going to play past the controller with that one like we did with the Quarry.
Gotcha. Actually, when you called that out last week, that inspired me to
nice.
pick it up. I'm like, you know what? I need to play the Quarry. And now that I'm playing it, I'm like, shoot, I wonder what this is like playing online. So I might ask you to bust it out again.
You don't want to play the Quarry online.
It's bad.
Kyle and I tried to do it, and it's the same thing where it's not the two people playing at the same time. It's one person is helping the other person make decisions.
Oh, okay.
The only ones that are good to play online are what the hell are they called? Dark Pictures Anthology. Yeah, those are the only ones that are good online. The rest of them are all just like me-ish for online.
Okay. Yeah, because then next time I'm going to try to kill everybody.
Oh, you're going to kill half the people now,
I'm going to kill half the people, yeah.
But if you ever want to get the Dark Pictures Anthology stuff, I will gladly get into that with you.
All right. Well, I have... Okay, we'll talk about that, because I think I have a couple on PS4 and a couple on Xbox. So.
Okay.
So yeah, loving that one. So I'm in a spooky season. I already got my scary movie list already written out here of movies I'm going to watch. So anyway. All right, so that's everything I've been playing. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Kind of a shorter show today, but that's okay.
We're still down 45 minutes.
That's not bad, yeah. All right, well, let's get into how we can be reached. So, Phil, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, how can they reach you?
You can find me at Twitter at BNow23.
All right, and you can find me over at PezGuyMike on Twitter. And then Nintendo Raj, if you want to reach Raj. I almost forgot that. I had that with a question mark.
Nintendo Raj?
Something like that, yeah. All right, so...
And if you want to follow the show...
You can go to GamerheadsPodcast.com.
Damn it, Mike, that's where you can read reviews. I'm talking about following the show on Twitter and Spotify. Instagram and Facebook. What?
Oh, Gamerheads at Gamerheads Podcast. Gamerheads Pod? I forgot.
One of the two. I don't know, man. I don't follow.
What are you asking me for?
Because you were playing the role of host and I'm playing the role of stooge.
You can go to Spotify and type in Gamerheads Podcast.
And you can follow us there too, damn it.
You can follow us there too, damn it.
Or iTunes.
Yep, that's also. So
there's a YouTube channel.
Yep, Twitch. I don't know if Roger still streams on Twitch.
He probably won't be for about the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us as we try to maintain control of this train wreck. We appreciate it. Check us out next week. Until next time, everyone, stay safe and game on. Have a fantastic night, everybody. So long.
Take care. Stuck the landing. Damn it! I forgot to press stop.